Testing 1 2 3 4. Reality Supreme Being on the air, January 2nd, 2012. Well, I guess everybody will find out at the end of the year whether the planet's going to be here after December and whether it'll make it to 2013. Anyway, I've had no activity, no real comments, which is good because nobody cares anyway. Of the last few people that viewed my videos, they haven't really, I don't think they want to investigate. I don't think they want to find out that this is what you would call a fantastic discovery. There are 8 things that you can logically put together. I told you, go to the internet, go to those 5 things and come up with your own theory. You're not going to come up with any other theory except the one that I've told you what's going on. Compare the history of the human race. If you want to call it the rap sheet of the human race, which is lousy, more than 7,500 years worth of wars and bits and pieces all over the planet, and less than 300 years worth of peace and bits and pieces all over the planet during this whole 10,000 year period. So you go and you look. I think that you are going to find that I'm not the only one. Now, I could give you everything I've talked about in the 100 videos are comparative examples. I think in one video I said, is it real or is it Memorex? Am I acting? And if this is all an act, the last 10 videos are not acts. These are things that I've learned over the whole period of my life while I was being abused by this ugly, evil United States of America. There are people who are under the control of this so-called alien parasite being. Some people believe it to be God. Why would God do good things for you and bad things for other people? Why would a God really answer your prayers? A real God, one that made a universe this big, would be bigger than this universe. And if you've got any training in astronomy, you've got to know that in comparison, if you found a comparative example of how big the Earth is compared to the whole universe, and then came to the human planet Earth and took a human being and said, well, how can I compare my life, the size of the body that I am, to the comparative size of the universe versus the whole planet Earth? Well, I think that if you checked it out, call the JPL Propulsion Laboratories in Pasadena. Call them and find out. Ask them if they've ever made a comparison. That if a human being was as big as the universe, how big would the planet Earth be to it? Would the human being on our planet, the comparative size would be that a human being is our size, and that the planet Earth, in comparison, would be the size of a meson, which is a smaller particle than an atom. It's what's inside atoms. Or maybe it's even smaller than that. It's so small you can't even find a particle smaller than that. So all that put into focus, and then put into focus that the pyramids were built and religions were created out of fear. People don't want to die. And they know they're going to die. They know they're going to not be living like this anymore. And they want to believe in something. Some people need to believe something. Some people don't. But looking at those 5 things I told you about, you know, the clam experiment, the Jacques Cousteau experiment, the 99th monkey philosophy, the holographic universe, and Dr. Emoto's website will leave you with one conclusion and one only. I mentioned it in one of my other videos. Even Nostradamus was using a water bowl on a tripod to look into the future, looking into water. Now, let's explain what atomic structure is. All atoms, even on the elemental scale, we're composed of nothing but a handful of chemicals. Some relationships last a long time, some don't. And I'm not off the subject. We're talking about atoms. Remember what I said? If you stretch out the DNA, you can stretch out one human being's DNA out with every one of the 100 trillion cells that make up our bodies, make up one human being. You can stretch it out 55,880,000,000 miles long, or 600 astronomical units long. Why would you need that much chemical memory on any DNA strand? See, when you really get down to the crux of it, the president, the government, all these people that fill themselves up with egos and, oh, I made straight A's in Harvard, and I got an all A's in MIT, and now I'm working for the White House and I'm a scientific advisor. You know, you're all full of crap, because I'm explaining to you how it works. Moses, for instance, talked to supposedly a burning bush, a god. That the name of the god was Jehovah, who was trying to pass itself off as a god. Moses, each person that's born, handful of chemicals. All those chemicals are made up of atoms, and they all vibrate at different frequencies. Calcium, water, blood, every brain cell in your body, it's all vibrating at different frequencies. This is why some people will get along with others, and some people clash, you take two magnets, North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole. Try to put the two South Poles together, they push away from each other. You put the North and South Pole together, boom, they stick. You break a magnet in half, the North Pole stays the North Pole, and the South Pole, the new South Pole, okay, would be a South Pole. But the other half in your left hand, that broken half on the other side, would not be a North Pole. It would be, guess what? That's right, it'd be a South Pole, because if you try to put the magnet back together, it will push away from each other. You've created a total opposite by breaking that. Now, atoms vibrate at frequency, each person's body. Moses' body, day by day, all of our bodies change frequencies every day. You get 100 trillion cells, and they all are composed of atoms, and they're all vibrating to different frequencies. I doubt very seriously any one of you could really phantom that or really get it in your head correctly. That's why people say you get up on the wrong side of the bed, or you're in a good mood or bad mood. Couple the fact with Dr. Emoto and the water being that I say it's either the water being or the dark matter in between all the spaces of the water molecules that has been controlling the human race and feeding off of its energy. All the stories you've ever heard, movies, novels, nothing is new. It's not new. It's all ingrained in those atoms. So a person claiming that they're talking to God might very well be talking to something, but I don't think it's God. As a matter of fact, most religions try to tell you to have faith. And when people pray, all of a sudden, coincidentally, things do happen, positive to some people. But I have a sneaky suspicion and a theory that none of this has anything to do with the prayer, positive attitude, negative attitude, love, hate, like those magnets, North Pole, South Pole. North Pole, love, South Pole, hate. Okay? Yin and yang, good, North Pole, bad, South Pole. Think about it. So you have these polar opposites, and they all operate in your body at hundreds of thousands of different frequencies. Now, if that being matches your frequency just by chance, or even by design, then you would be able to communicate with that being, that alien, whatever it is. But as far as you, any person on this planet who believes that you have had any kind of free will, no, you don't. You are a slave to these so-called invisible anomalies, gods, or things that try to pass themselves off as whatever they are, and it behooves you to band together the whole planet and get behind one person who's got the right idea, and I'm one of them who has the right idea, and start turning your backs on all these people that are controlling you, because they're working under the auspices of not their own free will. They're under the delusion they have free will. In actual fact, they are slaves to this water, dark matter being, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to take the time and trouble to sit here and try to educate you about what you should be worried about. Why relationships don't work. Why police act the way they do. Why they go crazy. Why sharks go into frenzies. Why police go into frenzies when they're beating up a subject. You know, civil rights, you don't have any. Nobody ever has. I certainly haven't enjoyed them, because the wrong people are in power. The people who are not, and here comes the big magic word, the awareness level, there's digital awareness and there's analog awareness. And all these people that are in power, they have analog awareness. They've carried analog awareness with them their whole lives. They do not have digital, almost perfect awareness. I do. And I'm telling you, when I die, you're going to be missing a big chunk of what you could have been learning from me. And I could have taken this planet on to a different direction, a direction of, let's say, 10,000 years of peace versus their crappy, the human race's crappy rap sheet. If the human race was ever set on trial, and it has been, not a new story. In the Next Generation, Captain Picard is captured by Q and tried for the crimes of the human race. You want me to go on? These stories are not coincidences, and they're not original. They're all real. They came out of the DNA. They came out of bits and pieces of ancient memory that's been, remember, 55,880,000,000 miles long of all kinds of ancestral memory. There are no new ideas, okay? Just new discoveries to us of history or discoveries that we don't know yet. So I've laid it out for you, and this is your opportunity to really give me a lot of views, to pass the word on. Go to the next person. Go to those 5 different websites. You'll end up, I swear to you, you'll end up with the same conclusions me. And you can take this particular video and play it back to everybody and go, listen, this guy does know what he's talking about. He's been screwed over by the planet, and finally something great happened to him. He became the first discoverer of what's really been going on this planet. And I'm not an antichrist or an anti-philosophy or any of that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, wake up, become aware, raise your awareness level above all that crappy church crap, because that's what it is. It's something to continue to control you, if not from a religious viewpoint, then from a physical viewpoint, from a man's laws viewpoint. Both are evil. Both are corrupt. Corrupt because they think they know it all, and they don't. The people who attach onto me, to my awareness level, it will run like a wildfire throughout the whole planet. If I ask the whole planet, like Gandhi, stop paying taxes, stop cooperating with everybody, tell them, shoot the finger at them, say, this is what we think of you because you've had all the wrong answers. You've had your 7,800 years shot of trying to build things. And even with all your inventions, you're still making bombs and killing innocent men, women, and children. You're the ones that are stupid because you listen to these people. And you listen to the so-called religious garbage. And it is. It's all garbage. Because the truth is in those 5 websites I've told you to go to. Dr. Emoto is the last link. And if you don't believe what he's telling you, then don't. Get your own water, freeze it, get your own microscope, check it out. Put nice labels, nice statements on in every language on the water, and then freeze the water with ugly labels on the water. You'll get the same results. Ugly labels, negative statements create broken symmetry. The crystals don't hold together. Nice statements, beautiful statements, positive statements create positive crystals. Symmetry is intact. The reason I've gotten on 100 videos is because I have been damaged. I've been damaged by these idiot people. Obama. You know, Rosa Parks was arrested on a bus for not giving her seat up to a white man. Now we got a black man who totally ignores me and my suffering. How do you like that?